Alright, welcome you guys. We're talking about the distributive property right now. And basically the distributive property is a really simple process. It's what happens if you have a number in front of the parentheses. What do you do with the stuff inside the parentheses? And I'll take a really simple one. Let's go 2 parentheses x minus 7 parentheses. Okay, and so this one's pretty simple. Now, if you take the idea of what multiplication is, and multiplication is grouping. So this is 2 groups of whatever comes next, and it's going to be 2 groups of x plus 7. So technically you could rewrite this as x, I'm sorry, not x plus 7, x minus 7, so x minus 7, and you could write another one right below it. Okay, and you could just, since we have 2 groups of them, we just add them together for the total amount of groups. Okay, and that's where you get 2x minus 14. Okay, and someone noticed, they said, oh, rather than adding, let's just go ahead and multiply, because what if I just took this number right here that was in front, and why don't I just distribute it to each part in there? And they said, oh, that's wonderful, because that just makes total sense. And so that's where the distributive property was born. Okay, I do want to, nope, that's not it, there it is. Okay, it's just talking about it because you're going to have to do a lot of simplifying with parentheses. So this is the readability version of Purple Math, so just the simplified version. So if you have 3 times x minus 4, let me zoom it in a little bit so you guys can see a little bit better. Okay, you just take the 3 and you multiply it onto the x and onto the 4. What happens is, if you write it out in one line and you don't take it one step at a time, the most common error is you just take the 3 and multiply it to the x, but you totally forget about the 4. So you have to multiply it through to both each part. If you need to write arrows, do it. Okay? Alright, I have to take the negative 2 through the parentheses. This gives me negative 2 times x minus 4, so I multiply everything by negative 2. Okay, now the tricky part is most people will make the mistake and they forget to go negative times a negative here, which is going to be a positive 8. Okay, alright, so you just have to be very careful with how you do it. And just work it across simply. Just make it easier for yourself. If you have to make brackets just to remind yourself and then put a plus here, it's totally up to you. Alright, now, if there's just a minus sign in front, that's technically just a negative 1. Okay, so when you multiply, when you have the minus sign in front, it's like you're distributing a negative 1. So it's negative 1 times x, negative 1 times negative 3, and becomes negative 1x plus 3 or negative x plus 3. They're both the same. Alright, now, what happens if you have some distribution mixed up in a expression and it's just only part of it? Well, you just multiply the 4 throughout these 2 parts. So it's 4 times x and 4 times negative 1. So you get the 2 plus just stays alone until you get done distributing. Then once you get the 4x minus 4, you can start combining like terms. So you would combine the 2 and the negative 4 and get negative 2, and then you would just rearrange it to be 4x minus 2. Okay, just so you know, most teachers, most textbooks, most tests will expect you to write in descending order. So put the letters first in alphabetical order and then just go across. So, some things. And this is what Purple Math looks like without doing readability. It's pretty crazy. Okay, now if you have multiple problems where you have to distribute, take care of the very inside first. So 3 times 2x plus 1 becomes 6x plus 3. You combine any like terms. So I have the x plus the 6x gets me 7x. And then distribute the outer part. Okay, so then it becomes 28 plus 12. 28x plus 12. Okay, there's no difference between the braces and the brackets. Just feel free to use them however you want. Okay, I'm just getting rid of that ad. Okay, now if you have something that's really complicated and then you got some adding and subtracting, once again, just do the stuff inside the parentheses first. So the negative, put a -1, distribute it through to each part, okay? Combine like terms, then distribute the -3 to this part, okay? And then you get plus 6x plus 6, and then you just combine like terms, so these three are all like terms. This one is not a like term, so you don't combine it with anything, you're good to go. Alright, and as you can see, as they get progressively and progressively harder, you don't have to be too scared. Just if you focus on just this part right in here, inside the braces, inside the brackets, all that stuff, it becomes a lot easier. So on this one, I just distribute a positive 1, but that doesn't change anything. So you just combine like terms, like this. So I get 3x plus 2. And then all I have to do is, okay, there's nothing to multiply out front. Here. Thank you. Alright, so I just minus the 2 with the 2, and I get just the 3x left, and then I just multiply that with the 2, and this whole long complicated thing just becomes 6x plus 5. Alright, and just to see some really kind of difficult stuff right here, if you have an equation, which we will go over, you just treat it the same way. You just distribute the -1. It doesn't change anything. But I'm going to leave that for the next chapter, and we'll start talking about equations, okay? So you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.